This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Nelson scores! Up in the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go hunt moose on a Harley. The Fires, he scores! LA face with an Oakland booty. Scores! Make me a bicycle club. They score! Bowmeister! Pay that man his money!
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek with GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us, and I'm here, holy shit, with Tom apparently, Dan, Jason, Marco. Unfortunately, Mike couldn't be with us. He's feeling under the weather, and you know what? If he was trying to pack up to skate out of town from the hurricane, I wouldn't blame him either. That thing's coming in pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and reschedule with Mike, so you guys can look forward to that hopefully next time when everybody's feeling up to par and hurricane safe. Unfortunately,
I guess that's a big question. Sorry if there's any Florida collectors that are packing up their stuff. We know Bobby is now, but any other collectors that are listening, looking about skating out, how are you preparing that kind of stuff? Love to hear that.
Yeah. Shoot. I just hope everybody that we know down there is staying safe. Should probably start reaching out to our fellow Floridian collectors. I know Tim Zelmo's down there. I hope he and his family is doing well. You know, it's gonna be a rough one here. You know, with Houston being as bad as it was. I don't really know any collectors in Texas myself, at least that I can recall. I think I've done a couple deals with some guys down there, but it's gonna look like it's gonna be a pretty bad time. So keep those guys in your thoughts and minds, and touch base with them. Make sure everybody's doing all right. That's what we're about, right? It's community. So keep that community spirit up going. If anybody needs anything, give us a holler. We'll see what's going on. But that leads us to our topics tonight, which are, well, we're going to talk about a little bit of current events. We got some stuff going on with Fanatics, and a couple posts sparking some people's interest and response keyboard warring type deals on Bad Trader posts, so we can talk about that and anything else that pops up. So one of you guys recommended the Fanatics thing, so I'll let you open that up, because that's a can of worms that I could talk about for a long time.
I guess easiest way to start this, and the question got raised, and it's been shared in multiple groups. After you put the post out on GameWorn, I've seen some of the groups that other groups I'm attached to, kind of screen grab that and start a debate with it. Is, as you read through those emails, is asking questions and trying to negotiate prices. In the case of this, the company being Fanatics basically thought that the guy agreed on price. There was never, if you read through the whole thing, there was never a total agreement. He was trying to make a deal, and the deal never was finished. The Fanatics rep got all pissy and nasty and said, fine, go find a deal somewhere else. Yeah, and I think that's shady as hell.
Well, here's the thing about it, too, and is the email isn't even that bad, but you can definitely put that, you know, moniker on there.
It's extremely unprofessional.
It's very unprofessional, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like super nasty, but you can tell, you can read into it that there's definitely like a fucking jab in it.
Do you know what? It sounds pathetic, to be quite honest with you. Like he's saying, I had to go to my boss directly and ask him for a favor.
Well, yeah, he's trying to guilt trip him for sure.
Yeah, give me a break.
That's a used car salesman trick.
Right.
Well, and I got stuck, but I think I talked about it a little bit on the last show, is it was a different dealer, or a different rep there, not the same one, had reached out, said, hey, interested in this particular player from this season. I know you guys have several. This is price I want to do. Said, let me check. Fired back. Said, no, I can do it this price. Like, nope, sorry, I'll pass. About a week or so later, did some more checking and threw another price and said, you know what, we can do that. I'll send it over. Again, you've got a salespeople, and then they have a guy that does the invoicing and that, which I think screws things up too. But said, I'm going to send you the invoice right now and verified my email address, the whole bit. About an hour later, I get a phone call saying, oh, we thought it was from the previous season you wanted. It's going to be $30 more. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, plus taxes and shipping, or shipping was going to be free plus taxes. And it added like $80-some. I'm like, nope, done. And walked away from it. I was surprised I didn't get anything back from them. But it's like, and all I had to do, and I said I would post all mine if I needed to, is I specifically, and I even asked for an inventory. They had 4 of the players' jerseys from this season, didn't list anything previous year from different sets. So it's they just didn't like how low they had gone and got caught and tried to take it back up a little bit.
Here's the thing about Fanatics is they don't have any value to add the hobby, so they're here just for capitalistic purposes. And the second problem to that is they don't know the market. They don't know what they're doing, and that's part of the big problem. They don't know how to price stuff. They don't know how stuff is going to sell. They have nothing to go on, and they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing the practices that they're doing. All their people on commission sales, which isn't a problem, but it kind of is a problem. And when it comes down to it, you take a look at the prices that they have on jerseys. And if somebody wants that player, and they have every right to look for another means too. And you can't, if you're going, it depends on what you're going after it for. Do you need this specific year? If you don't need this specific year, they can't really hold you hostage to getting that jersey. So they're sitting here and they got to play these games. They don't, set hard prices. Everything is, here's our ridiculous ass price, make us an offer, right? And a lot of times, if you even make them a reasonable offer, they don't even consider it to be a reasonable offer. I was after a couple World Cup of Hockey jerseys. I was like, hey, I'll give you guys this much for this one, this one, this one. Oh, you're way off. You're way off. They threw them up on auction, and they went for like 75% to like 60% of what I had offered. So they would have made a crap ton more money off of me. And
yeah,
they don't care.
Well, they are thinking they could get more.
Right. The problem is they don't know the hobby. They don't know the market. They really don't know anything at all, and their sales reps really don't help themselves. Like that's part of the thing. Everybody goes through it. You don't have a deal until you have a deal. So you do what you need to do to get the sale, and if they don't buy, they don't buy. That's just how it works. And then you can't go and send these snappy emails, and because you're gonna get put on blast. Like nobody has to put up with that shit.
Do they not know? What are they that ignorant, or just don't care that they don't know that all of us as collectors talk, and especially with social media, that I'm betting that that was out online in some form or fashion within hours.
Oh, easy.
Of getting those.
We even got the full chain too, and it wasn't even that bad. Like he was just like, "Hey, the price on this is too much." He's like, "Oh, I'll see what I can do," and they're just sitting there haggling prices, and then he comes back with a final price like, "Hey, I can go this low," and the other guy's like, "Well, somebody has a jersey of this player for cheaper than that from a different year, so I'm just gonna go with this. But thanks for, checking into it for me." And I was like, "Well, I hope you have a good luck getting that one. I hope it's a good shirt for you." Just bullshit. Like, I went above and beyond for you, and you didn't buy for me. Cry face. Tear. It's sales, dude. Like, maybe you're in the wrong business.
He made it sound like going to his boss was
an inconvenience.
An inconvenience. He was like he's out of touch or whatever, because he had to request a discount. Well,
Well, if your prices weren't so high to begin with, it wouldn't be a problem, huh?
Well, and one of my...
Sorry, go ahead.
I say one of my friends had posted in regards to that chain is one of the sales guys would call him, and he finally told me, you know what, quit calling. I'm tired of dealing with you and you guys' business. And he'd spent a lot of money with him and said, fine, I'm done. You guys are basically called him out and said, don't call me again.
Oof. I mean, they're gonna pit themselves into a position where the only time they can sell is to the non-collector, or the person who just happens to stumble across the fact that they can get a game-worn jersey based on their marketing, and they buy it at these crazy prices thinking that they're, these one-off pieces, or, don't know better. They don't know that this stuff is out there. That's what their end-all be-all is going to end up happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's more jerseys. Teams are producing more jerseys, so it's not like it's a one-of-a-kind.
And I feel bad for the salespeople. To be real, I've been in a high-pressured sales situation like that. I used to work at Verizon, which was fucking awful. And the worst part about that is I was a customer service rep, and I had a sales quota. So they fucking dog you and treat you like a sales rep and shit too. And that was bullshit. But, you have these metrics to hit. And, with those guys being on commission, I'm sure they have metrics and a bunch of numbers that they have to do and have to produce and this, that, and the other. And to spend time on somebody who hurts your figures or doesn't add to your figures, I completely understand. But you have to swallow that pill. You gotta swallow it. And you just gotta move on to the next. Otherwise, this stuff gets out and nobody's gonna deal with you after that.
And look at how big, in all the grand scheme of things, look at how big Fanatics is. All the crap that they sell online, the pucks filled with water from different games, the wallets supposedly made from game jerseys, all this kind of other fan shit that they sell, and now their name's going to be on the bottom corner of the Adidas, like the jerseys you find in the store at arenas and that.
The Authentics.
Yeah, they don't give. In the grand scheme of things, the jerseys are they make such a big fucking deal out of it. It's one of the smallest parts of their business that I would almost bet.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Game-worn jerseys, they would be best served if they just fucked off and did, what made them money. Comparatively to everything else, this is zero market share for them. They're not going to make money off of this. I don't know why they're trying. They're going to be putting more effort in it than it's worth because they don't know what they're doing. And they have other avenues to make a fuck ton of money. The game-worn jersey portion of it is just so far removed from everything else that they do.
I think you could argue for the teams, though. Okay, look at, what does Sidney Crosby make? What does Crosby make a year?
Almost 10 million.
8.7 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Right? His jerseys cost, what, $20,000, right?
Anywhere from...
Who pays that?
$8,500. I think the Stanley Cup ones might go that high, but his normal ones, I think, are up around $7,500 to $10,000. But you never see them; they get pre-sold.
Yeah, so let's say $10,000. But how many jerseys is he wearing a year? Including all the special sets and all that crap.
Well, he would wear black, white. This year, it had the Stadium Series, the Sunday Gold.
What does this matter? What are you getting at, man?
Well, I'm getting at the fact that you're saying it's like a ridiculous.
Under
maybe
10.
Yes, it's a very small portion of their business. But I think we're diminishing it still, because when you look at a player like Sidney Crosby, and let's say he wears 20 jerseys a year, which is really not out of the question. We take in, the 1, 2, 3 period jerseys, the ones the card companies get, the thirds, the playoff sets, all that stuff. It's probably more than 20 jerseys, to be quite honest with you. And you look at the price, and the price is, let's say on average, if they're selling at 10,000 base, but he has better ones that sell for 20, maybe the average price is $12,000. So what's $12,000 times 21 or 22? It's $250,000, which is a significant portion of his contribution towards his salary for the year. So I would say for the team, maybe not for Fanatics, but these jersey sales for certain players do make up a large portion, not a large portion, but sizable portion of the income for the team.
Well, but here's the thing too with that is that in the case of Crosby, I don't know if they get. I know Joe gets some of them, so he's buying it as a bulk thing. It's not like he's paying anywhere close to what the selling market is for those. He may pay, but I don't know if he gets all the sets or just one or how they handle it. But thinking of the teams that Fanatics has right now, I mean, there's not any. I mean, there's big name players, but not to that money level of big name players.
Well, here's what you need to factor into is we don't know the deals that Fanatics has with the teams, like how much we know they're paying them for the jerseys. They're paying, here's a fuck ton of money, because we've seen the Blues do it that way before. I think a set ran somebody 30 or 40 grand or something like that. So you're extrapolating that out based on how many sets that they're producing, and Fanatics is paying that. So they're giving the team a bulk sum of money. Now, it's a bad investment because the team is shit. People aren't buying their jerseys. There's too many jerseys out there. So really, you need to be looking at your price per jersey rate, which I can't imagine would be favorable to Fanatics. The amount of money you have to have invested to market these things, picture these things, do their little catalog bullshitting, sewing their shit on there, and sales process throughout the whole thing. Like you're paying to get the stuff out there. I don't think they're making near what you would think they're making, because all that money isn't theirs. When they sell a jersey, they're recouping most of their money until they're all sold, or they get down to the end, whatever's left, after they pay off what they've used to buy, then they're starting to get into the profits. So it's diminished returns.
Well, yeah, we just don't know the specifics of what they pay for the jersey.
But and it's low volume too, comparatively to what they're doing. Think about the authentic and the retail market, right? And
yeah, I mean, but if we use the Blues example, they way overpriced the Blues jerseys, what the market was going for the Blues. I mean, that's just one example. I'm not saying other jerseys wouldn't be more valuable or worth more money,
Well, no, I mean,
but there was enough.
They did kill the market. Like, there's no hands about it. They killed the market, but they're not making money on it either. So there's no point in them being in it. It's not a smart investment for them. And even if it was a smart investment, if somehow they managed to squeeze 20 grand in profit from them, that's a drop in the bucket compared to all the other ventures that they have. All the other stuff that they're in, 20 grand is nothing. There's not a lot of money in this stuff if you're not doing it right.
Well, I think that's where our conflict comes in as collectors. We see a different way to market it. We see a different value in the jersey than they see it. They see, like you've mentioned, we've all mentioned before, they see it as a business, like a T-shirt, a hat. They're going to buy a soldier and they're going to sell it for the highest price they can. And we look at more as a piece of history and the value kind of the jersey, and what we think it should go for. Certain teams up and down. So
maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. Okay, they've got the contract with the Blues GameWorn stuff. Sure, they see a Tarasenko jersey. What's Tarasenko? What do they want for Tarasenko? It's like $7,500 or something like that. Crazy, something like that.
Until they marked him down. I think they were down to like $1,200 or $1,300. They started him way high. Yeah, they started them way high and nobody was buying, and they kept having to drop them. I'm seeing if I can find the screenshots because they were ridiculous how far they
you
cut
were
them
on
down.
the call when we talked about it, but what their strategy is we'll throw it up on NHL auctions for this ungodly price, and then after it doesn't sell for 3 rounds, we'll drop it down. And then it doesn't sell for 3 rounds, we'll drop it down. And they did this until jerseys got down to like a few $100.
But I'm also saying, though, that they sell them on their website as well, right?
They try.
Alongside but maybe we're missing the point here. They sell them alongside their authentics and their replicas and all their other stuff, right? You go in and you see a Tarasenko jersey, game-used Tarasenko jersey for what, $5,000? Maybe the $250 or $300 asking price for the authentic doesn't look that bad in comparison. There's a lot of smart marketing these companies do. And I'm not going to say it's bad. yeah, okay, fine. They don't have the collectors in mind. That's pretty obvious, right? They don't care about game-worn collectors. They just want to make as much money as possible. But they also don't want to leave money on the table. No good business wants to do that. I think that where the gray area is, how do you try to make as much as possible without making yourself look foolish, right? Because I think now
We're
collectors.
past that.
Yeah, of course, I agree with you 100%.
Well, yeah,
And I did find the list
into the market in a better manner than they handle the World Cup of hockey jerseys. Jesus Christ! I mean, that's step one.
Yeah.
Everybody, we wanted to have faith. A lot of people really were looking
Haven't
at
we
that
invited them on
entire
the show?
situation. Dude, we tried so hard to reach out to them to just give them faith, to have faith.
Weren't
in
they
them.
invited? Weren't they also invited to Chicago?
I've invited them on GameWorn Radio. I invited them out to Chicago. I reached out to them numerous times about, getting a little bit involved, and they have no fucking investment whatsoever. They don't give a shit.
I did find the list. The original list price for Tarasenko was $5,000. When they made this huge cut of all their jerseys and put them on sale, his was $1,350.
Now is
And
$1,350 more in line with what they were in the past when the
Yes, when the Blues were selling them directly, they were between $1,100 and $1,500, depending on when you saw them. Like Parayko, his that were $1,750, they sold for $750.
See, in that regard, I can't imagine the Blues sold them to Fanatics for much less than they were selling them to the fans or to collectors.
why would the Blues do that? Why would they say, well, we know the Tarasenko, we sell it for $1,100 to $1,500. Let's just keep him for example. So we'll sell him to Fanatics for $1,000. We'll give you guys a chance to make a profit. I don't think they're selling to Fanatics for $5,000.
No, they're selling them to them for a little bit less than what they
I think
sold them
so.
to collectors, because they're not going to leave that much money on the table, and they just get rid of the headache of having to deal them.
Right, and they're not, and they figure that $300 or so that they might be losing.
That's what
was
I'm trying
probably
to
them
say
marketing
when
it. Yeah.
when we're talking about the profit margin that Fanatics stands to make. I can't imagine it's going to be all that much. I mean, they might get lucky and have a shirt sell here and there because of the fan that doesn't know any better, but I think that's few and far between. It's really unfortunate, though. I'd really like to see teams stay away from that platform. I mean, there's no reason for Fanatics to be handling game-worn jerseys right now. I mean, they don't even know how to look at a fucking roster list of active players in a game. It's terrible.
Yeah.
They know nothing.
I guess we all wish teams would do something a little different,
Bye, Margot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind migrate teams because you know what to expect with them. Some teams,
Yeah.
they try to sell themselves, and I mean, then you end up with like a Los Angeles Kings situation where it's laughable at best.
Well,
Yeah.
it helped that it also would be consistent, because I remember seeing that in the Blues group. Like, one person's like, "Oh, they're offering me jersey for this amount," and the guy's like, "They offered me the same jersey, but like $200 more than you." So it's like it's a crapshoot of what you're going to get when you ask for the price, even.
Well, the price isn't necessarily the price. The price is different for
some
everybody.
teams are better than others. Some teams are better than others. Some teams post the jersey. You see the price. If you're the first one to get there with an email or phone call, then you get the price of the jersey.
Well, I remember talking to Doc at one point. Like, I was looking at a couple jerseys he had that he was looking at getting from Fanatics. He's like, "No, I'm just going to turn them down. They're asking too much." And I asked for the same jerseys, and it was like $200 or $300 more than what they offered him. And I was just like, if I'm a new person coming in, I was like, that's just insane. What you can't keep a consistent amount. And I understand they're trying to work on commission, but that's a big difference when it comes to jerseys.
Clearly, the consensus is they're not doing it right, and fuck them. That's what I think.
And They don't get any.
there's not much more to be said in that article. I just posted a screenshot, and I think the title was something like, "Should you feel bad about not taking a deal that you negotiated or attempted to negotiate?" And the answer was, "Fuck no." I mean, you really don't need to say much more than that. You should not feel guilty about not taking a deal that you had to negotiate down. It just didn't come down to your level. And nobody's got any allegiance to somebody that they didn't say, "I'll take it." Until the deal is made, the deal's not made. There's nothing more to say. It's just shitty sales practice. So, I don't know. Maybe some of them will listen to this show and be like, "Oh, we suck. Let's change that." But that's not likely, yeah?
They probably should have. Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck
All right. Next topic was all that hubbub, right? One of you guys mentioned all the hubbub on the bad traders group.
Oh yeah. So I guess we were saying something about etiquette when something goes wrong.
Dude, it's not. From what I saw, the story is somebody got on there and was like, "This person's a terrible person," and we're all like, "Why?" Well, this happened years ago, and then this other thing happened, and we're like, "Okay, what are the details?" None. Somebody else is going to come on and explain it later. All right, so you got on here, you started a post about how terrible somebody is, without any information that somebody else is going to explain. What's the point on starting the post? And like, dude, it was ridiculous. It was so much banter back and forth. I mean,
and by the time it was all said and done, he looked like the asshole, and everybody else was like, whatever.
Well, none of this shit's stuff. Like, it's accusations of a jersey getting stolen and a player wanting it back, but it didn't get stolen from the player. It got stolen from a card shop or some shop or something, or supposedly stolen. The story didn't match up, and the problem is conflicting stories between the accuser and the accusee, and come to find out that it was about name dragging is what it comes down to. It wasn't even about justice. It was under a shroud of justice just to drag people's name in the mud, and you can't do that. I mean, nobody's going to take your shit seriously. Like, I can't even... the names don't even stick in my head because that's how crappy the entire reading the whole thing was. It was just stupid.
Yeah, I didn't get where they said the player wanted it back. I'm thinking, but the player wasn't at the show, or the player, like, something's not making sense there, Yeah, it kind of got out spilled, like, almost like one of those, like, okay, I'm tired of reading this. Just move on.
Well, it wasn't even about the facts. It was about providing the facts. It wasn't about what the facts were. Nobody gave a shit. I don't think anybody really even gave a shit about what the facts were. It was about having them provided. Everybody's like, answer this question. Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. This person's going to come later and answer that question. It's like, come on, man. Why don't start the post until you're ready to actually lay everything out on the line? Especially in a group that's designed to, put people on blast like that.
I've noticed that lately, like anytime it's not just that, but anytime someone asks a question about the jersey or whatever, everyone's already offended. Like, how dare you ask me a question about this? Because I've seen that done in many of the posts on Facebook. It's just like someone will ask a question publicly, and then the person gets all bent out of shape. Oh, what, you don't trust my word? It's like, well, if we don't know you, no. It's hard to believe what you say when you won't even answer a simple question.
I don't know, man. It can be annoying, though. It depends on the question. Like, if I list something as GameWorn and somebody's like, "Hey, is this GameWorn?" What do you want me to say?
That's a fun question, by the way. I mean, how do you? I mean, photo matching is, I guess, the only way. But then you could say, something's doctored and the LOA is fake and this and that. So yeah, I guess so. But yeah,
I'm at a completely even different level than that. It's not about prove to me it was GameWorn. It's, hey, is this GameWorn? It's a fundamental thing. I have a problem with the comprehension skills that are going around, we'll say, society and the interweave these days.
Oh, don't act so elitist, Derek. Give me a break.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. I can't help it, dude. You list a jersey and you say, here's the information about the jersey, and then they ask you a question that's right there in the fucking listing. Come on.
Well,
man.
actually, someone actually had listed that, hey, they had a game-worn jersey, and by actually just asking questions and looking at the pictures, it said it was game issued, and the guy's like, oh, I didn't know it was game issued, and it was, clearly marked on their jersey, and he clearly marked it game worn.
Well,
I think it was a Minnesota Wild jersey or something.
I think we're still talking about something different. What I'm talking about is this jersey is blue. Hey man, is that jersey blue? That's what
basically the common sense has gone out the freaking window.
That's what I'm getting at.
GameWorn collectors, their span, it's not like we're talking about Minecraft here, where you're dealing with 12 and 13-year-olds. GameWorn collectors are people that are interested in sports, and that spans many, many generations. You have so many different types of people that are into the hobby. It's really interesting, and you get people from different income levels that are interested in the hobby, and that's a lot different than a lot of other hobbies. A lot of other hobbies, you see, the income levels are basically all the same amongst the hobbyists, or they're all the same age, or they're all from the same area. It's not that case with game-worn jersey collecting.
You fucking asshole, making me look like an asshole now.
Yeah.
You would fucking go there and justify. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you guys are too agreeable for me. I always have to be the argumentalist.
No, the worst is that it fucking makes sense.
Oh, come on. It does. Of course it does.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I didn't think of it like that.
But Derek, he makes a lot of good points, and especially thinking about I got into the hobby in mid to late 90s, junior jerseys, things like that, and then started expanding, found the old forum, started making a lot of contacts, meeting people, and even when I joined the forum in late 2000 era, or late 90s, early 2000s, I mean, there were people that had been in the hobby 20 years at that point. And we grew up with, a lot of us have grown up with forums and not this instant bullshit. And now you have younger generation who thinks the GameWorn jersey stuff are cool, but their mindset's totally different, and how they can go buy them, how they can find them. It doesn't take any work anymore. It took much more of networking and talking to people and making phone calls and meeting people. Now it's, I'll send them a Facebook message, and you may never hear from that person again other than, hey, I got the jersey, looks great, moving on.
That's true. I never looked at it from the other angle, because for me, everything I see right now is just like standard practice, because I grew up in this computer age, right? So I was hacking back when I was like 12 years old, hacking into people's computers with sub-7 Trojans and shit like that. I can say that the statute of limitations is up. But yeah, dude, like, I grew up with this shit, so I never thought to think of it in that regard. I mean, as much as I don't like to politically say, that your income level affects your comprehension skills, I suppose it can, or it does, even though it shouldn't. So that's...
I think it affects your buying practices, that's for sure.
That's true. I did not think of it like that.
I think, you know what? For GameWorn, there is a gateway for collectors that are collecting GameWorn jersey cards. These are people that are used to spending, like $10 or $15 to get an item. Now they're having to spend 10 times that for what they want. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is why I think that you know what? If you buy a jersey, you better really like it, man, because selling it's going to be a big pain in the fucking ass, you know?
Oh, for sure. Well, especially your first jersey, because you're not into the hobby yet. You don't quite know the ins and outs and shit.
Yeah.
So you're going to drop more than you need to on that first jersey, hands down. I mean, I know I did. I think a lot of people did too. It just comes with that. I did cards. I did cards for quite some time. My big thing was the autograph cards. I really like those, but you started seeing more and more of those, this piece of jersey in there, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, because you don't know that the whole jerseys are out there and you can get them. And I think that's what sucked, is finding out, holy shit, you could actually get the whole jersey.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you find that out, you jump and you go get the first fucking one that you see, right? And then you start exploring even more, and you're like, I used to think these jersey cards were cool, but the jerseys are out there in plentiful numbers.
Well, now they, perhaps earlier they weren't, but yeah, now they certainly are.
Yeah. So now it's a shame to see them cut up into cards.
Yeah, now it's a shame for us to see them cut up into cards.
Oh, because now we've done the research. The cards don't even match the jersey swatch they got in there. So
yes, that's very
the
good.
worst is when it's a jersey that you want. Like, don't fucking cut up a Gordie Howe jersey. Holy fuck. Or like when I'm trying to get a Glendenning and the only one available is not available for some reason because it got sent to Hockey Hall of Fame, and so they go and chop up the other one. It's like, come on, you motherfuckers. Like, go grab a common jersey and throw it in there. I mean, and back in the day, dude, you would look at some of the shit, and this was what drove me a little bit crazy about the cards, is I have this, it's Felix Potvin New York Islanders card, right? It's got a piece of dasher board in it, and on the back it says, this is a piece of dasher board from Joe Louis Arena. And I'm like, what the fuck? It makes no sense. But you see shit like that where it's like, this is and I think they've gotten better in recent times, but they start saying like, this was worn by this player. It doesn't even say game worn in a game by the player. It was just worn by him. You get into like the photo shoot shits and whatnot, or like all the rookies. You have like the rookie cards, they get released before the player even plays a game in the NHL, and there's a jersey in there. Come on, you know it's not a game jersey card.
Well, it's the same thing with the ambiguity of saying it's a game jersey. What does that mean? Does that mean game issue? Does that mean game worn? Worn for a bit? It's so vague, but they do that on purpose. It's like any other evolving industry. They come up with all these terms to confuse the collectors, right? Or the buyers, I should say.
So, interesting thing for the non-card adept. I've been out of it for quite some time, but one of the card companies that I hated that cut up all the cards and stuff, I guess they can't do NHL cards anymore. Or something, they lost their licensing agreement.
Oh, right. Lost it to Upper Deck, I guess?
I'm not sure.
Or was it?
I'm not sure exactly what went down. I noticed that they no longer were making NHL cards, and they were like one of the big offenders with just buying up a bunch of shit and have a bunch of racks. I even created some videos of them and how proud they were to be cutting up a fucking jersey.
Was that the one this is the company that cut up the Mario Lemieux one?
Yeah, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm so happy to have this awesome jersey in my hands." Snip, snip, snip. Like, what? Yeah, you really appreciate it, don't you? Yeah, fuck that.
Derek, what else we got on the docket, man?
Nothing. What do you got?
I'm trying to think. Okay, we're talking about the collectors that are, in the unfortunate circumstances of having to evacuate the areas they're in because they were just, Texas was just hit by a hurricane. Now it looks like Florida is being hit. In Canada, last year we had Fort McMurray hit, and we know many people know Sean Chalk is a pretty renowned jersey collector. He's got a very
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, of course,
he's nobody. I never heard of him in my life.
He's a nobody, yeah.
Sean Chalk. You're just making up names now.
Yeah, and listen, I went on a trip recently, and it's kind of stressful with what you have to do with these things when you end up having to leave the country or your house for a prolonged period of time. There's kind of a tax that you have to pay to be a collector of this stuff, because you gotta really protect it and take care of it and take it with you places, or find alternate arrangements and insurance. So I just wanted to know what you guys do when you're in that situation.
Well, I don't own enough shit to have to worry about too much of that. I just insure my stuff for what I bought it for, and that's that.
But no, I don't think so, because if that's the case, if it was just that, then you would sell me a jersey for what you paid for it. And I know you wouldn't do that because you like it too much. So
it's the exchange rate.
It's not. Fuck off. By the way, Canadian dollar's doing very good right now. Canadian dollar's doing very good. We're catching up to you guys.
I don't know, man. What are you trying to buy?
We're going to be on par pretty soon. We're going to get hurricanes in Canada.
You trying to buy a Cam Fowler jersey?
No, I'm not trying to buy a Cam Fowler jersey.
Then what are we talking about here?
I'm just talking about what do you guys do when you guys have to leave, when you guys go away for a week? Do you find alternate arrangements, take your shit somewhere else?
Look, man, the only thing I got to worry about is a house fire. And I've already done the whole fire drill where you run downstairs, grab your shit, and take it outside. And the only other thing I got in the Midwest is tornadoes. And you know what? My shit's already in the basement. Done.
What about theft?
I have guns for that.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was going to be your response.
I will. You know what? And in my case, I was down in Florida at the end of July. I had... Of course, I live in a smaller town away from a lot of hockey, so nobody gives two shits. But I had a wireless webcam, so I could check and see. And I had family that was home nearby, but I could basically fire up the cam, look in the room, and then see.
So you can watch your jerseys either burning on fire or some guy stealing them. What does that?
Well, if they were stealing them, I would have pictures, and in this area in central Illinois, if any of those came up for sale, it'd be 2 minutes to figure out who the hell had them and know they were stolen.
It's true, but I mean, these things, you really cherish them. I know we all do. That's why we're attending a radio show that's dedicated to these fucking things. You don't want to see anything bad happen. You don't want to have to go to the police. You just want to hold on to them because you like them so much.
Well, if anything happens to them, theft, you might get them back. But a fire or tornado or a hurricane, they're destroyed probably. And you lose a piece of history. We understand that. But what do you have in your? It's valuable to you because it's your collection. You put the time into it.
But also thinking of, in the case of if a tornado comes, I have minutes. There's not a damn thing I can do in the case of that. In a fire, I make sure that, I can plan ahead as make sure that the electrical's good and where all my stuff is stored, things like that. But if it's hit by lightning and it catches fire and I'm not right there to grab the shit out, I'm going to be out of luck too. Hurricane, thank God I live in central Illinois. In that case, like Bobby and others, they're packing up their shit and getting them north. But anything that happens almost instantly, there's not a damn thing you can do.
Nope.
See, this is my next point then. See, jersey collecting, I think it's like a blessing and a curse, because while I'm on vacation, it's sunny, I got a drink in my hand, I'm sitting by the pool. At the back of my mind, you guys know what I'm thinking. What the fuck is happening to my fucking jerseys right now? So it's kind of like there's always a level of paranoia when you reach that level of, you've been collecting for, however long you've been collecting. Some people 20 years, 30 years, the collections are valuable. It might not even be the value that you're worried about. It's all the time and energy you put into it, That's the stuff that I think about, and I try to kind of, level with myself about being a collector of these stupid things.
Describe for me what it's like to go on vacation.
Oh, give me a break, Derek.
I'm not shitting you. Since I've collected jerseys, since I've started collecting, I have not been on vacation.
You know what? I went
on vacation this summer, and I didn't even think about my jersey. I was on vacation. I didn't have a camera like Doc. So I mean, if I come back and they were gone, just take your next step. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed, but take your next step.
That is a very healthy approach, and I wish I was as level-minded as you are. But I'm,
you know, I mean, I got jerseys that are special to me, just like everybody does. But I don't have a jersey that's gonna like break the bank. You know, I don't have anything that's like people are gonna be like, "Holy crap, that thing should be in a museum." You know, so you can't replace
what
them.
Dan's trying to say is have low expectations for your collection, so you don't have to worry about it in the long run.
You just said you haven't been on vacation since you became a collector. What does that say about limitation?
It tells me that I have 3 months of PTO. 3 solid fucking months of PTO that I need to start spending soon. You laugh, but I'm not kidding. I have 3 months of PTO.
When are you going to use it?
I don't know.
Doesn't it run? Do you have an expiration period?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Oh shit, dude.
Yep. So I might just be like, one of these times, I'll just take a month off work. That's cool. Go find something to do.
Okay, here I've got another question. So I recently got married. I think you guys are all married, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do I hide all this stuff from my wife?
I'll answer that one.
Good.
I'll answer that one.
Too late now. Too late now.
Yeah. You're gonna
Share.
hide jerseys.
I have mine in a Rubbermaid in the garage that has never been touched by anyone but me.
Yours in a Rubbermaid in the. That's not the answer I'm looking for.
We need to like trick Marco to like go get a storage unit and act all shady and shit. She's gonna think that he's having an affair. He's really going to this like shipping container with like all these things inside.
Trying on his jerseys.
Well, it's not just in the garage. It's in a cedar. Mine's in like a cedar chest thing. Also.
with a retinal scanner and a.
The only information you've not given up is your actual address. We know it's in your garage. We know it's in a cedar container.
Who's done?
We
that
know
I
with
dare you
Tom?
to come. You don't. I dare you to come. You're going to be met with a gun and me sitting at.
Tom is like, fuck, I've said too much. I'm moving it out
Nope.
tonight. As soon as this conversation is over, I'm moving all of my shit.
No, I dare you
Marco.
to try to find where I live.
All right, so you get on
Marco,
Facebook,
does your
right?
does
You
your
go
new
to-
bride? Does she know you collect jerseys?
Oh yeah, she's good. I'm just joking around.
Listen.
She's pretty good about it.
We're gonna fuck around with Tom here. We're gonna get on the Facebook. We're gonna go to the about section of his page, and we're gonna see where his wife is at, and we're gonna send her the link to this video.
No.
You done fucked up, Tom.
I should have kept it on mute. I should have kept it on mute. It's trying to be cool and
Way to go, dumbass.
yeah. Story of my life.
But for real, I'm gonna send her a link to this video.
Or you have to now.
Oh, for sure.
You're an asses.
But you know what? I mean, we're joking around, but I have you occasionally see on Facebook and on the old forums, literally divorce sale, and you find out it actually is a fucking divorce sale, and that's
Oh yeah, I've seen that, and I'm just like I'm lucky my wife likes the fact I collect jerseys, and that she likes the jerseys that I get. So
That it's gonna suck when you get
That
divorced
she-
and she wants to keep the jerseys that you like. Yeah,
yeah, out of spite.
that's why people
That
sell
won't
their
happen.
shit, man.
Nope.
I mean, we're not talking a divorce because you collect jerseys. We're talking about you're selling your shit because you're getting divorced. There's a difference.
no, that won't happen. She needs me, I need her, so that won't happen.
Everybody
Who
says that
watches-
shit.
Who watches the kids? She's gone a majority of the time because of her job. So
So leave it up to Mr. Mom.
it's not Mr. Mom, it's just Dad.
Tom, I envy you. I honestly think it would be wicked to be.
You what?
I envy you, man. I kind of want to be a stay-at-home dad, man. I think that would. I'm not underselling it. I think it is a hard job to do, but I think that getting to spend time with your kids when they were young is amazing, and I mean, a lot of guys don't get to do that, man. So you're a lucky guy.
It's helped because I share my interest with the kids, and they all love hockey now because of my love for hockey. And so, and then now my collection gets bigger because they're like, Daddy, I want this player. Daddy, I want this player. I'm like, I don't think we need him.
So how does your allowance situation work? Does she like allocate to you like $100 a month to pack away to buy jerseys later?
I don't get allowance.
Oh, you got to argue for that, man. You got to start mowing the lawn a little bit.
Well, what I usually do, that's why I usually end up selling like jerseys or other stuff. So
Dignity.
What is dignity?
Do what we gotta do, man. Do what we gotta do.
Sell that dignity. Get that jersey.
Yeah.
I have no dignity.
Sounds like a rap song.
You're talking about guy. You want to talk about dignity? You're talking about guy who wears a goddamn singlet in the middle of the brain and wrestles another guy in a singlet. How much dignity is there?
You gotta be the coolest stay-at-home dad in the world. Like, honestly, most of them are just watching and stuff like that. You're doing wrestling and jersey collecting and all this other crazy nonsense. Your kids must love you.
He's the Mad Russian.
He's the Mad Russian. That's right.
God, dude.
Not the Mad Russian, just mean the Russian.
I've got so much PTO that I can cover you guys with PTO, right? So we should just like go down to one of his matches and sit in the stands and not tell him.
Oh, I would know. I see everybody.
And then you know what we do? We talk to the wrestling promoter.
People.
We talk to the wrestling promoter.
Oh no!
And we're like, we should go in there and beat the living shit out of this guy. You know, as part of like a surprise attack. They would love that. They love that shit in wrestling.
Start playing the GameWorn intro and we all come running in with a steel chair.
Tom's like, what the fuck is going on?
I'll just grab my chain in the chair and beat the shit out of everybody. That's what I usually do. I'm the bad guy.
I'm gonna have to call up my friend that you can't see.
Guys, okay, here's
That's okay. It's okay. He only has 5 moves anyway, so I have way more than that.
Here's something I just wanted to bring up real quick. Do you think that and I've started to notice this for a while, GameWorn, what in the flying fuck is going on?
Who's doing the dishes?
Fucking Tom's like slinging his kids around the room and cracking skulls and
No, I'm cooking. Sorry.
Mr. Mom doing the cooking.
It's okay, so it's taken a while, but it looks like now that the other sports, in terms of the value of the jerseys, are finally catching up to hockey. I'm not sure if hockey was artificially inflated in terms of value or if it's just natural correction of. But why was it
context? Because like I've seen baseball jerseys go for stupid ass money, and basketball jerseys are continuously going for stupid ass money. So I need some context.
But a few years ago they weren't. If you go on eBay, I was on eBay, I don't know, like 6 months ago. I saw an Eddie Murray photo match jersey for like $1,200. Like, how is that possible?
I don't know who that is.
You know who Eddie Murray is?
No.
Cleveland Indians. He's got like one of the highest batting averages of all time.
I'm from Baltimore.
I can give you Ken Griffey Jr.
All I'm saying is that for a long time, I'm very certain of this. Hockey jerseys were worth more overall than basketball, football, baseball. I'm not talking about Babe Ruth's fucking jersey. Obviously, that's insane. I'm talking about mid-level players. Why is the correction happening now?
Could it be availability or like the awareness of the availability?
I think that's what it is. I think a hockey jersey has kind of spawned the game-worn collectible craze for the other sports. Because I think that when you look at a hockey jersey, it's something very special, right? It's like a badge of honor, right? It's like in the locker room, they don't walk across the logo. A hockey jersey is something with the logo right on it, and it's got blood and repairs. It shows that people had to sacrifice to wear it, you know? And I think that's why people love the old school jerseys. They're rare. They're beat to shit. They have character. But I think it's spawned off now into, a higher value for the other jerseys, even though they don't really have those things. Baseball jerseys, dirt stains, and basketball jerseys, you only photo match them with, loose threads. But you're really seeing those jerseys now go for crazy amounts of money. And not just start
good marketing strategies by the memorabilia companies that handle them.
Oh, I think that has a great deal to do with it. But I think that people probably owe the hockey jersey a little bit of credit in that respect. Because when you look at it, in terms of the 4 major sports in North America, hockey lags behind. There's no question about it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Is that ever going to change, I wonder?
No.
Probably not.
People are in their ways, and we need more black people in hockey.
Yeah, that's true, 100%.
A lot of it. I hate to say it, but it is that. I mean, you have a great mix of that in football. You have a great mix of it in basketball, and people gravitate to those things because it's a cultural thing. I mean, hockey's, one, it's hard to get into, and B, a lot of the different people are not represented. I mean, you don't see a lot of, Asian people in hockey. It's just all white dudes.
No, although China's not a lot of Asians from North America, but China's really ramping up their hockey program, by the way.
Did you see the one Chinese kid that
yeah, the YouTube
the
video
inline dude? Oh my god, he was amazing. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, they might be the next kind of like Russia, where like during the 70s, Russia poured all that Soviet money into the hockey system. That's kind of what China's doing right now, which is kind of insane. But yeah, I think and that's
the way to grow the sport though is the cost. It's expensive. It's cheap as hell to do basketball. You can get a pair of shoes and go do basketball. Hockey is incredibly expensive. It's hard to get people into. Like in this area, rinks close down like it's their job. Can't even get one open. I've got 2 sheets of ice right now. 3 sheets maybe. Yeah. One's a seasonal. And we just had like the main place I play. That place shut down because the city offered no support. But you can put up a basketball court outside, no problem.
There's no cost to the city. Once the court is up, very little maintenance, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, hockey is just hard to get into. It's a great sport to watch for people, but when you're able to play it or experience it, you have a little bit more of a connection.
Well, for me, the nearest hockey rink for me is an hour for 2 rinks, and my kids both want to play, and I said, I can't do that. I said, there's no way, because we can't do that and then go to school, because it's just, the distance is just too far out.
Tom, I used to think you were a good stay-at-home dad, and I said a lot of nice things about you, but I'm starting to rethink that now, bud. Sorry.
If my kid was awesome at it, yeah, I'd do it. We do it, but with my kids who can't even skate,
You got to get them in power skating, buddy.
It's definitely not a cheap sport to play.
It's not.
It's you have to learn. You have to learn from the ground up something completely new. Like basketball, you can run. Football, you can run. Hockey, you skate.
Hockey is.
It's a completely different mechanic. It's not. It's something that you actually have to concentrate on learning.
It does 2 things though. It does 2 things. The sport of hockey. Not only does it, besides the commitment and all that stuff, it challenges the athletic ability of a child and stuff. But it, because of the expense, it weeds out the people who aren't serious.
Yeah.
So when your kid gets up there and plays, and gets to where they're good enough to be on a travel team or a high school team that's really, really good, you start to get the competition with and see how far your kid can go. But it is expensive and it's time consuming and it's hard to, rinks. Those owners of the rinks have to have other businesses going on because they're not making a lot of money, if any money at all.
That's true. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. We'll try and get Mike on the show here. Hopefully next week. I'll talk to him throughout the week and try and make sure everything's good in his neck of the woods. I think Tom's got to get back to doing some dishes, so we'll let him do his thing. And
What a cheap closer, man. What a cheap shot.
You got to take it when you can.
Yep.
I'd rather do dishes than say a desk job all day.
Yeah, I would
that's
too,
it.
actually.
I don't know. Sometimes you can bank that 3 months of PTO if you do it right.
All right, fellas.
All right, man. You guys take it easy.
Take it easy.